Hello, everybody. I'm back on live. So I hope the internet connection is stable enough to, for me to do this live stream. If the internet connection cuts off again, then I guess I have to just end it here for today. But it seems like it's stable now. So I'm just going to continue where I was. So I was talking about that when. So I guess you actually missed what I said before because the internet connection was so bad. Okay, I'm going to start afresh, but not from the very beginning because I don't know how much you've already heard, but back from when everybody, I think, cut off. So let me know in the chat if you can now hear and see me. So what I was saying is that thoughts are like seeds. So if you have like a seed for a flower that you want to plant, and you have a very healthy, oh good, thank you, Amy. You have a healthy seed that you are planting, then in the end of the day, if you're nourishing the plant, you are going to have a beautiful plant. So it's exactly the same with your thoughts and creating your own reality or what you want to see in your life. When you pick thoughts on purpose on what you want to create, I'll just give you an example. For example, you say to yourself, I am in a healthy and loving relationship. You should obviously add to that like all the qualities and values of the partner, because just that you are in a healthy relationship is too unspecific, but I just wanted to give you an example so that I can get the point across. So basically, when you are planting the seed as a thought and then you nourish it because you keep thinking it, then you have these positive feelings which will then draw this experience to you. So that's why the thoughts are so important. So I don't know, I'm just going to mention again what I said previously because I don't know if you've heard it. So the first point that I noted down, and just to let you know, you can ask questions whenever you would like. So the first point was, when you take control of your thoughts and your emotional well-being, then you're making the process of attracting him and finding him so much easier because you have this amazing clarity in your life and you are just simply on the right track in your attraction power for bringing the relationship, the person to you that you want to see in your life. And the second point was that when you are thinking the thoughts of where you want to take your relationship, you are prepared for a smooth journey within the relationship. And then the third point is that you are also prepared to face challenges within the relationship when you are always trying to pick the better thought rather than the thought by default or the negative thought. I want to give you a few examples because I know this sounds a little bit very, I guess, theoretic if I'm not giving you any examples. But before I do that, I just quickly want to suggest this book to you, The Law of Attraction. I recently finished reading it and I'm actually going to read it again because it really goes into all of the details that you will need for attracting what you want in your life. And this book is not only about attracting the right partner. If you want to attract anything else in your life, whatever it is, this is an amazing book. And I did not read it at first because I thought, oh, this is an old book, probably has really old language. However, this book, in fact, is actually really amazing and goes into all the details that you know that you need for manifesting. And then the other book I can really recommend is Transurfing in 78 Days. This is a book where you read 2 pages a day and it gives you food for thought every single day. It asks you questions and it makes you look at the world in a different way. So this is super exciting. Again, whatever you want to attract, this is an amazing book. So now I'm going to jump into some examples because, much more easier to understand what I'm talking about when I go into examples. So very often when people talk about dating or relationships, I have heard people already mention negative thoughts when they start dating or when they are in the beginning stages of a relationship. One thought I had somebody say was, this person was at the beginning of their relationship and she said, well, let's just see how this goes. So this is not a good thought to think. This is not a good thing to put out there, because that means that whatever is out there is going to define your experience of this relationship. It means that you're not taking control where you can, and it means that you are already kind of suspecting that something may go wrong. And yes, something might potentially go wrong, but if you are already thinking that in the very beginning of the relationship, you may sabotage it, you may set it actually up for not succeeding because you're thinking that way, and you're not showing up the way that you could if you thought a different thought. Because if you're thinking, oh, let's just see how this goes, you're kind of, it sounds like you're relying on the other party to show you that this is great or not, when really, if you were thinking, I'm going to show up the best way that I can, or I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make this amazing, that's when you're taking on the power that you have. Because very, very often in life, we unfortunately focus on the things that we don't have power over. I'm going to quickly answer this question, Shelley. Is the book very spiritual? I'm wondering, are you asking that because you are not into spirituality? Yes, it is quite spiritual, but it also makes a lot of sense. So I used to not be very spiritual. I started out just with Tony Robbins and self-development, and then leading to Dr. Joe, where it's still very science-based, but gets a little bit more spiritual. But as my journey continued, I just realized that spirituality is actually not woo-woo at all. And but maybe look into Dr. Joe first if you need the science behind it, and then lean to this book, The Law of Attraction. Although I can definitely recommend this, but I mean, I am 5 years into the journey, so I don't know if this is because I've read so many other books that this is just completely making sense to me. In the end of the day, it all really comes together, I think. So back to my example. If you have these negative thoughts in the beginning stages of a relationship, or even when you're dating, and for example, if you are going out to date and you are already thinking, oh, what if this goes wrong? Like, there is just no upside to that thought. Yes, it could go wrong, but if you're thinking, what if this go wrong, then I was just reading your comment. Okay, cool. So then you're not feeling positive about this date if you're thinking, oh, what if this goes wrong? And then you're showing up in a different way, as if you would have told yourself, oh, what if this is going right? What if this is going to be amazing? Anyway, I wouldn't really suggest you going onto any dates that you're not really drawn to anyway. Like, I am completely anti going on so many dates. Like, I have heard other dating coaches say, yeah, just go on like however many dates and then you'll find the person. I mean, yes, if that works for you, but for me personally, I think, and I have also talked to a lot of girls who have had the same experience, that when you just randomly go on dates with people that you don't know very much about, or that you don't actually feel drawn to or a connection to, you seriously might just set yourself up for disappointment. And then you develop this negative thought system about dating, which is then not really influencing your dating life well at all. So this is why I really encourage you to find out enough about the other person to be really curious about them and to be really interested about them, especially if you're using dating apps. Just talk to them long enough to know whether they are a good, or whether you think they are a good candidate. Because if you just randomly meet people who you just want to check out, then you may potentially set yourself up for disappointment, and then you don't want to go on any other dates, possibly. But also, you can just tell yourself, if you had a negative dating experience, that this has nothing to do with your future dating experiences. This is why we're talking about thoughts today. This is why thoughts are so powerful. They really are the seeds to our future, to what we want to grow into our reality. But also, in every single situation, we have the power to step back and look at our thoughts, do a thought download. A thought download is when you choose a topic, or you just do it randomly. You sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and you write down all the thoughts that you have. And then you ask yourself, are these thoughts true? Do I believe them? Are they serving me? And if they're not serving you, for example, a thought like, let's say you had a negative dating experience and you come home and you say to yourself, all men are annoying, I don't want to go to any more dates, then you have to ask yourself, is that serving you? It's definitely not serving you if you want to end up in a relationship in the end of the day, because that's not leading you to a relationship. So a thought that would serve you in that situation is what I said before, is that if you immediately tell yourself, hey, there's nothing wrong with one bad dating experience, doesn't mean anything about my future dating experiences, and just move on and never think about it again. That's amazing, because we are the only species who can really think so much. Like, animals can't think back to the past, or they can't think to the future. They're literally just in the present moment. But we have this power to think, to look back, and we have this power to look forward, but we must make proper use of it, because most people really use their thoughts and their brain against themselves without knowing. And basically worrying about everything is really using your brain against yourself, because you are basically creating what you don't want. And this book really, really goes into detail on how you create by default, which is really what you don't want. But let me give you a few more practical examples. So, so what I just said, when you do a thought download and you look at what you're thinking and you're asking yourself, is this serving me? And if the answer is no, then you need to think, what else can I think? And I'm very sure you can come up with some good suggestions for yourself. And if you want to go from one really negative thought to a really positive thought, you might want to use a thought ladder where you say to yourself, like, maybe I could believe this, or maybe I could think this, or possibly I could be a person who is thinking such and such. So that's the thought ladder. If you kind of stuck on one belief system that you don't want anymore, but you gradually need to move yourself to the other thought system that you want. I want to give you an example that could happen in your relationship, very likely actually. um, so um, in your relationship, we all have good days, we all have bad days, and your partner may come home or may come to a date in a bad mood. And it is so easy to project that onto yourself, to think like, oh my gosh, what have I done wrong? Or how can it be that he's in such a bad mood? Um, Even though I'm here, he should be happy. And when you do that, you are putting all of the pressure onto yourself when this probably has nothing to do with you. I mean, if there's like a deeper underlying issue, you want obviously to talk to your partner. But I just want to bring this up because I think that many people have had this issue, and it's really something that if you know about your thinking and how your thoughts really trickle down to how you actually feel, um, it's very, very important. Because let's say your partner comes to a date, or you're just meeting up, and they're in a really bad mood. If you then tell yourself or ask them what is it about, and they say it's about work or about whatever, and if you then tell yourself, okay, that's fine, and I'm not happy that he's in a bad mood, however, I am just going to look after myself and maybe do something else tonight, or make a few suggestions of what I could do for my partner. But if he refuses, it has nothing to do with me. And if you tell yourself it has nothing to do with me, then you are you are not putting that pressure on you. You're not judging yourself for maybe you have done anything wrong, anything like this. But these thoughts very often happen very, very much in our subconscious mind. So sometimes we just feel bad, but we don't know why. But there is always an underlying thought behind that. And if we feel bad and we truly ask, like if we just sit down and we're not with our phones, we're not distracting ourselves or buffering with food or anything like that, and we're just sitting in silence and asking ourselves, well, why am I feeling this way? You will get an answer. And if you don't get an answer immediately, just sit there for a bit longer. And if you don't get an answer on the same day, just ask yourself again the next day. The answer might actually, as you have put it into your brain, just come along the way, because our brains are just so smart and so amazing that we really want to make use of them for our own benefit, and not having them run amok and just create by default, create all the things that we actually don't want. If we take control of our thinking, we can create so many amazing things. Let me see if I have another example. I actually have an example of a couple of thoughts that are good when dating, even if you haven't met the one yet. Instead of telling yourself like it's not working, this is annoying, you could just tell yourself it's working. And how can you see it's working? Well, you're out there, you're meeting people, you are working on yourself, you're putting the effort in, maybe you're reading this book. So you can just tell yourself it's working, because if it's working, if you tell yourself that, then you feel good, and then you will over time for sure attract what you want. Whereas if you're telling yourself it's not working, your brain will just try to prove yourself right, because if you tell yourself it's working, then your brain needs to prove yourself right as well. I want to give you another example. So a lot of people are really playing very, very small in life, because they are so afraid if they set big goals, or if they even dream a little bit about the partner that they might want, then if they don't get them, they will be disappointed. This is what a lot of people say to me, like, but if I have this dream and then it doesn't come true, then I will be disappointed. So the problem with this is when it doesn't come true. You need to really abandon the thought that this will not come true, and stick to the thought that it will. just completely abandon the but what if, because you're the one in charge. You're the one. If you keep at the work, if you keep attracting, and if you, like, when you have a thought like, oh, I might, maybe I should do such and such or such and such, that's called inspired action, and you then need to take action, and you are the one who is making it work in the end. So rather than saying, what if it doesn't come true, a much better thought to think is, I will make sure it will. I love myself so much that I will go out in the world and I will make sure I find the best person for me. Like, everybody else can date whoever they want. I'm dating the person who is absolutely amazing and perfect for me, and who I will be so happy with. So those are the thoughts that you really, really want to be thinking to attract what you want. Please ask me a few more questions if you like, because we're only on here for a few more minutes and then we're going to finish the live stream. But basically, it all comes down to living from the inside out. Like, to be completely honest with you, I only understood this phrase, living from the inside out, very recently, like really fully what that means. I always understood theoretically what that meant, but only now I'm really coming to terms with what that means. And it is really all about that your thoughts, as you keep thinking them, you will basically actually see them on the outside. So on the inside, you're thinking those thoughts, and then over time, as you are creating your reality, you will see what's happened for you in the outside world. It may take some time, or it may not. Some things come quicker to you, some things are not. I also don't want to scare you if you have a lot of negative thoughts, because we all do. The most important part is that you choose some thoughts in your daily life of things that you want to attract to yourself, and you do that really every single day. This is called deliberate thinking, and with your deliberate thinking, you really want to feel those positive emotions, and this is how you attract. So what could that mean if you, like, in your daily life? It could mean that you say to yourself, I only surround myself, or I only attract kind and respectful people into my life, or I am worthy, I am treating myself really well. Because the thing is, when you tell yourself that you're worthy and that you love yourself, and then you treat yourself really well, then other people, including the partner that you are attracting into your life, will treat you really well as well. But if you say all these mean thoughts to yourself, your partner, even if they can't hear them, because of energy, they literally know, even if they can't hear them, because of the energy that you vibrate, they literally know. So this is why your thoughts are so powerful and so important. Yeah, so I hope that today's live stream was that you enjoyed today's live stream. And like I said in the beginning, but I think I got cut off, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And I'm going to be live every Monday for 5 weeks. And if you want to come and join me in my life coaching program, Transform Your Love Life, please contact me via Instagram, melanie.josephine, or my website, melaniejosephine.com. So if there are no other questions, I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you so much for joining. It was so much fun. And I'm going to see you next week, next Monday, 7 p.m. UK time. I am sending you so much love from London. Bye.